We've been waiting for you. Maria Taylor alongside Jalen Rose. Right now, Philly is up 62-55 on top of the Raptors. But we got to get you all caught up on games that have been happening inside the bubble. How about a little Pacers and Rockets, Jalen? But Westbrook is out with a strained quadriceps, so we should expect to see a lot probably from James Harden.
Nate McMillan doing a terrific job with the Indiana Pacers. They have an identity. While Victor Oladipo working himself back into things, you see guys like Holiday and Sumner and Doug McDermott playing big, finding a way to still get a victory.
Yes, they walk away with the win, 108-104. James Harden had 45 points, 17 rebounds, and 9 assists on the day, but no win, unfortunately. The Eastern Conference playoff bracket is set. What do we think, Jalen Rose?
I'm excited to see that Celtics and Sixers, and I know that the Sixers don't have Ben Simmons, but Joel Embiid should be dominant against that Celtic front line.
And I'm just excited to watch Paul Pierce watch the Celtics play the 76ers because he gets so stressed every time he has to watch a tough matchup. All right, we're going to be talking about Game 2 and the ballers that have been balling out in the bubble. Jalen Rose has something to tell you.
MVP talks, who's the MVP and all that. My goal is to get better each day, to help my team win games, and everything will take care of itself. That's what happened last year. I was locked in winning games and helping my teammate, and it took care of itself. So that was my, my main focus.
As far as the MVP race, I think show what I'm capable of doing, not only individually, but from a team's perspective. Us being number one in the West, there was a lot of conversation about, LeBron can do those things in the East, but if he ever came to the West, what can he do? I heard all that, and to be able to have our team at the top of the Western Conference and playing the way that we were playing at that time and the way I was playing, that's definitely a good feeling.
Magic Johnson is one of 4 Lakers to have already won the MVP. LeBron would make it 5. No team has done that before. He's also not exactly an objective observer, but he's making his case for LeBron as MVP. Although for a guy who's recorded as many triple-doubles as Magic has, his triple-double math may be just a little bit off there. Speaking of bias, we're bringing in a couple of fans here who are definitely biased about their candidates for MVP. Giovanni Lim of the LA Lakers, who's been a fan forever, and Andy Grozowski from the Milwaukee Bucks. And guys, I'll ask you both to explain how deep your allegiances run. Giovanni, let's start with you. How far back do you go as a Lakers fan?
Oh, I've been a Lakers fan since I was 8 years old. It's been over 32 years. I'm a Lakers season ticket member for about 6 years now. I waited for 7 years on the wait list just to be a season ticket holder. And I've always loved the Lakers. I bleed purple and gold. I go to almost every game, and I love them. I love them.
And Andy, how far back do your Bucks memories go?
Oh, gosh. Lifelong Bucks fan, born and raised in the city of Milwaukee, and a great NBA household with my dad and my grandfather, who were huge Bucks fans, and we had tickets growing up. I personally have had season tickets for 9 or 10 seasons now, and we're Bucks through and through.
All right, Andy, give me your case for Giannis Antetokounmpo to win back-to-back MVPs.
I mean, what Giannis is doing this year is truly historic. I mean, with all due respect to LeBron, it's a great season. But Giannis had arguably one of the greatest seasons ever in NBA history, and every fact and number backs that up. I mean, I know there's a lot of sometimes narrative-driven type things that develop, whether that's in the media or in fan bases, that create a groundswell. And I think LeBron has that, and he's having a terrific season. But from real plus minus, where Giannis is basically at 8. And, LeBron James is at 6.8. Giannis's efficiency rating, which I think is 31.9 right now, it's on pace to be the highest ever recorded in, nearly 75 years of the NBA.
Andy's throwing some advanced metrics at us here, Giovanni. What's your counterpoint?
Well, what I have to say is Giannis is an awesome player. But with due respect to him, LeBron James, just like what Magic Johnson was saying, he's averaging nearly a triple-double. There's only been 5 NBA players that have finished the season with 25 points and 10 assists. LeBron James is about to be the 6th. And those 3 players out of those 5, I can name them right now. It's Harden, Westbrook, and Oscar Robertson. Basically, what LeBron James does is make everybody better around him. He's a team leader, and he came to the West for a reason, to prove all of the doubters wrong that he could win in the West. If you take a look at the Bucks' record right now, the 15 losses that they have, 9 of those losses are from Western Conference teams. So let's just bring the Milwaukee Bucks over to the Western Conference. The question will be, will they have a better record than the Lakers? Probably not. The Lakers are the #1 seed for a reason, and it's because of LeBron and what he's doing for this team.
You guys brought information to the table. I like this. These are all good arguments for both candidates. Giovanni, I'll go back to you here. You know, obviously, fans of their teams like to see their players win these awards. How important, how big of a deal is it to you that LeBron wins and becomes the first player ever to win MVPs with 3 different teams?
It's a huge deal, but honestly, as a Lakers fan, he's already our MVP. He told his teammates that he was given wide, broad shoulders for a reason. And not only did he put the team on his back, he put the whole city, the whole LA Laker fan base on his back after what happened on January 26th. He passed up Kobe in the all-time scoring list. He gave that heartfelt speech at Staples Center. And then a week later, he mimics that iconic dunk that Kobe did. He's our leader. This is the same LeBron James that was told to shut up and dribble. He was told he couldn't go back to Cleveland and win a championship, down 3-1 to the Warriors. And he was the one that was told that he couldn't go to the West and be successful there. So a motivated LeBron James is definitely something that the Laker fan base is excited to see. So whether he wins it or not, we have his back.
Andy, you hear the passion in Giovanni's voice when he talks about what LeBron means to the LA Lakers. What does Giannis Antetokounmpo mean to the city of Milwaukee?
He plays with like a tremendous amount of humility, and you pair that with probably one of the greatest physical kind of freaks the NBA's ever seen, and it's you couldn't even write a Disney movie that's as crazy as Giannis's story.
All right, guys, great arguments from both of you. Good luck to your candidates, and we appreciate your time. Andy Gorzalski with us from Milwaukee, Giovanni Lim from Los Angeles. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
go
you.
Bucks.
And more coming up here as we continue the race to the 2020 Kia MVP. What to look for the 21 MVP race.
He's averaging 23 points in the bubble. The Nuggets still have a chance at a 2 seed, but will have to win both of their remaining games and need the Clippers to lose each of their last 2 games. Meanwhile, the Clippers, they're in the driver's seat with a 91% chance to secure the 2 seed in the West, according to ESPN's Basketball Power Index. The good news is that's game 2 of our doubleheader tonight. And now we welcome in our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. And Woj, the NBA is preparing to allow teams to have guests inside the bubble for conference semifinals, but it's going to come along with some restrictions. So what are the restrictions for guests to enter into the bubble?
Well, the big part of negotiating this between the Players Association and the NBA were to allow players to bring their families in, wives, children, to come into the bubble for teams who are advancing deep and are going to be here longer, and that's after the first round of the playoffs. But for those without wives, without children, or those who those family members aren't coming, they can bring guests in, but they have to be long-standing friends. They can't be business associates. Their agents won't be allowed to come in, and they're not allowed to bring in someone they met on social media or somebody they met through an intermediary. The league certainly, they're determined to try to keep the integrity of the bubble, keep infections out. They've been throwing a shutout so far without one positive test among players, but more so, to keep the environment, basketball-centric as they get deeper into the playoffs. But this was something that the Players Association thought was really important when they negotiated with the league on the restart. And I think for especially a lot of the veteran players, Maria, they're excited about getting wives and getting their children to be able to come in and be a part of this with them.
Well, I'm glad the players will have some guests. Woj still having great guests on his pod. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the latest, so make sure you go listen to the Woj pod. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Maria.
Jalen, no one that you meet on Instagram can come to the bubble. Okay?
That's crazy, right?
The way it works, okay?
Man. Those guys gonna be getting caught up, Truth.